Professor Veltar adjusted her optical sensors for the third time, still unable to comprehend the readings displayed across her holographic interface. The Galactic University's Advanced Xenobiology Laboratory had hosted thousands of interspecies comparative studies, but nothing quite like this. 23 students from various coalition worlds sat in specialized environmental pods, each one calibrated to maintain their species' optimal atmospheric conditions. The Zephyrians required methane-rich environments at 0.3 standard atmospheres. The crystalline Silthek needed precisely tuned electromagnetic frequencies to maintain cellular cohesion. The aquatic Del Mare floated in pressurized tanks filled with their homeworld saline solutions. At the center of it all sat Emma Richardson, the human exchange student, in what appeared to be nothing more than a standard classroom chair. "The exercise is straightforward," Professor Veltar announced, her translator converting her subsonic vibrations into each species' native communication method. "Calculate the optimal trajectory for a supply drop to a planetary surface while accounting for atmospheric resistance, gravitational anomalies, and orbital mechanics. You have access to standard computational matrices." What happened next would fundamentally challenge everything the galactic scientific community understood about cognitive processing. The Zephyrians, renowned for their mathematical precision, immediately began interfacing with their quantum calculators. Their gaseous neural networks could process 17 parallel computational streams simultaneously. The estimated completion time, 47 minutes. The Silthek students resonated at specific frequencies, their crystalline bodies acting as living supercomputers. Their species had designed the mathematical frameworks used across half the galaxy. Estimated completion time, 31 minutes. Dr. Kexmol, observing from the monitoring station, watched as biosensor readings from each student displayed typical cognitive load patterns. Neural activity spiked to maximum operational capacity. Energy consumption increased exponentially. Stress hormones flooded their systems as they pushed their biological processing limits. Emma Richardson's readings were different. Her brain showed activity patterns that seemed almost casual. Oxygen consumption barely elevated. No stress hormones detected. Her neural pathways lit up in sequences that defied conventional understanding of cognitive architecture. 8 minutes later, she raised her hand. "Finished, Professor," Emma said, her voice carrying an apologetic tone, as if she were embarrassed by something. The classroom fell silent. Even the Del Mare stopped their gentle undulations in their aquatic chambers. Professor Veltar's optical sensors focused on Emma's submission. The trajectory calculations were not only correct, but included variables that the official solution set hadn't even considered. Emma had factored in solar wind variations, magnetic field fluctuations, and even accounted for the rotational effects of 3 minor moons that most computational matrices ignored due to their minimal impact. "How?" Professor Veltar's question emerged as a barely perceptible vibration. Emma shrugged, a gesture that somehow conveyed volumes despite its simplicity. "I just visualized it. Imagine throwing a ball really, really far and what would happen to it along the way." Dr. Kexmol nearly fell from his observation perch. The human had performed calculations that required quantum processing arrays by using what she described as imagination. "Perhaps you could demonstrate your methodology?" Professor Veltar requested, her scientific curiosity overriding her disbelief. Emma stood and approached the holographic display. Without accessing any computational tools, she began manipulating the three-dimensional trajectory model with her bare hands, adjusting variables in real time. "See, if you're dropping supplies to people who need them, you think about where they'll be when the package arrives, not where they are now. Like leading a target when hunting, except the target is trying to help you hit it." The comparison to hunting sent ripples of unease through the non-human students. Emma continued, oblivious to their reactions. Then you factor in that planets aren't perfect spheres, they're lumpy. Air gets thicker and thinner. Gravity pulls differently in spots. It's like reading the wind when you're trying to make a difficult shot. Dr. Kecksmole realized with growing horror that Emma was describing intuitive physics calculations that required dedicated AI systems to process. She was treating gravitational mechanics like a recreational activity. The true revelation came when Professor Veltar asked Emma to solve 3 additional trajectory problems of increasing complexity. Each solution came faster than the last, with Emma's biosensor readings showing decreased rather than increased neural activity. She wasn't getting tired. She was getting warmed up. Later, in the faculty meeting that would reshape xenobiological classifications, Professor Veltar would present her findings to a stunned academic council. Humans didn't just survive on Deathworlds. They evolved to treat physics as a game, processing impossibly complex calculations through what they called intuition. The scariest part wasn't that they could do it. It was that they didn't even realize it was remarkable.